Hey guys, AVD here and we're back with WTH, that is Weekly Tech Highlights, the best tech news of the week. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful support on the previous video. It has 76 views, 4 likes, and we're at 21 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. If you appreciate my content, don't forget to smash that like button so you can voice your support. So without any further ado, let's get into this week's news. Your weekly tech news in the best way possible. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Our first story comes courtesy of Mac Rumors, and it's about iOS 13. So this article nicely rounds up all the features we expect to see in iOS 13. So our first rumored feature is dark mode. Dark mode has been long rumored to come since iOS 11, however, it never happened. But this year, we're expecting to see this in iOS 13. So essentially what happens in dark mode is the individual pixels can actually shut off, which results in perfect blacks, especially in the OLED iPhones. So this will help greatly when it comes to conserving battery life. iOS 13 will also feature a redesigned home screen and also have major updates for the iPad. Also, Apple is expected to be releasing a completely revamped version of their Files app. iPad is also expected to get new gestures such as swiping left or right across the keyboard area to undo or redo. Other notable features include a revamped Volume HUD, a redesigned Mail app, and of course, the introduction of cross-platform apps across iOS and Mac. Also, like every new Apple firmware, we expect to see new emojis. The new ones include a sneezing emoji, a sloth, and an auto rickshaw. So yeah, if you want to read this article, I'll leave a link in the description. Anyhow, this wraps up our first story. Let's move on to our next story. Oh dear, Samsung's Galaxy Fold has a major problem. Well, Samsung sent some review units to MKBHD, The Verge, CNBC, Lou from Unbox Therapy, Mark Gurman, and more, and most of these ended up with catastrophic screen failure. Now, I guess it's time we explain why these things started failing catastrophically. First, MKBHD and Mark Gurman saw this protective layer over the screen and thought that it was a screen protector. Now naturally, when they tried to remove the protective layer, their screens went black. In fact, Mark Gurman managed to completely remove the protective layer without the screen failing. It was only after removing it did his screen start completely failing. But when MKBHD started removing his protective layer on his screen, it failed almost instantly. Now Steve Kovacs had a different issue. His screen started flickering, and this was after only 1 day of use. Now Samsung did issue a public apology, which I'm gonna read out to you. It says, a limited number of early Galaxy Fold samples were provided to the media for review. We've received a few reports regarding the main display on the samples provided. We will thoroughly inspect these units in person to determine the cause of the matter. Separately, a few reviewers reported having removed the top layer of the display, causing damage to the screen. The main display on the Galaxy Fold features a protective layer, which is part of the display structure designed to protect the screen from unintended scratches. Removing the protective layer or adding adhesives to the main display may cause damage. We will ensure this information is clearly delivered to our customers. Now yes, the Samsung Galaxy Fold is an innovative product, but the problem is Samsung wasn't really ready to release it. See, I get they've been working on it since 2011 as per reports, but if the product ain't ready, why release it? See, Apple is also releasing a foldable phone soon, but they're keeping it secret. They don't want to tell anybody that they're working on it till they're fully done with it. And that's why I appreciate Apple. Now, Samsung, yes, this is an innovative product, but hopefully Samsung does realize this mistake and, just push back the release date of the Samsung Galaxy Fold. Or they'd be losing a lot of brand loyalty and of course customers. Now I sound like I'm taking a leaf out of John Prosser from Front Page Tech's book, but seriously, they should have known this was coming and at least worked to refine it before releasing it to the market. Now the only thing we can hope for is that Samsung pushes back the release date of the Galaxy Fold. And do keep this in mind. This is a $2,000 smartphone and people are paying for what they get. If you have faulty screens on a smartphone, then say goodbye to customers. Still, I do appreciate that Samsung is taking the risk and going for it, but they should have made sure that these issues didn't exist before they sent these review units out to people like MKBHD, The Verge, and so on. So yeah, this wraps up this week's episode of Weekly Tech Highlights. By the way, I'd like to quickly give a shout out to my new website. I've linked it down in the description below. And yeah, that's it for this week's episode of WTH. Thank you guys so much for watching. Smash the like button, subscribe, and also turn on that notification bell so you're updated with the latest that I post. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Abhinav Dileep from AVD, and I'll see you guys next week. Goodbye.